Howdy DNT, this is Mr. Wright with another edition of How to Do Something. We are going to be talking about making your initials. This is going to be your grading sheet. Everyone's going to get one of these because you're going to be checking out someone else's work to make sure that they did it correctly. You're going to be graded like this on your initials. You're going to put your name, put the date, put the person that you're grading, their name right here. These are the 5 things that you have to do on your initials to make everything work out. Do they have at least 2 of their initials? Do they have at least 1 pair of straight parallel lines? Do they have at least 1 pair of curved lines that are parallel? Do they have at least 1 rectangle? Do they have at least 1 circle? If they have at least 2 of their initials, so the first letter of their first name, the first letter of their last name, or middle name, whatever, you would circle yes. If they don't have that, you'd circle no. Yes, you get 2 out of 2 points. No, you get 0 out of 2 points. Same thing goes for each one of these. You'll circle them all up. For example, say you're grading somebody like that. They didn't have straight lines, but they did these other things. They'd get 2, 4, 6, 8 points. You'd write that right down here, 8, and they would know that they got a B- on that assignment. It's a pretty simple thing. 8 is 80%. It's out of 10. What I'm asking you guys to do is take a piece of paper, and I'd like you guys to make your initials on it. You're going to be using a few different tools, maybe something that you've used before, maybe something that you haven't used before. This piece of paper is 8.5 inches by 11 inches. You can measure that using a ruler. This is called a ruler. It's got a nice straight edge here. It measures on one side in inches, and on the other side in centimeters. They're not the same thing. 1 inch is that long. Okay, 1 inch is that long. It's about as long as from my thumb knuckle here to the end of my thumbnail. Centimeter, you'll see, way stinking shorter. Right? It's about the length of a fingernail. So you guys can think about that, length of a fingernail versus the length of a knuckle. That's the difference between an inch and a centimeter. In this class, you can use either one. A lot of directions are given in inches on things online. It's better to use centimeters and meters. The metric system is way better, but I will allow you to use whichever one you want. This tool is a ruler. You can use it to draw straight lines. One of the best things to do with it is exactly that. Now, I want to make sure everyone sees this. Right here, that's 0 inches. Right there. No, right there, that's 0 inches. This is not 0 inches out here. Right there, that's nothing. That's 0 inches. That's 1 inch. If you draw a line like this, you draw a line here, that's starting from 0 to 1. That's 1 inch long. If I draw a line starting from the edge of the ruler to 1, it's a lot longer. You see that? These are different things. This is 1 inch. This is not 1 inch. You do not want to do that. You want to make sure you always line up that 0, not the edge of the ruler. So if I wanted to measure something on this page, you'll see I would get it all the way right there. That's the edge. This, not what I'm looking for. So you line up your 0. You start measuring from there. So always check to make sure you're doing that. One of the things I ask you to do is draw 2 straight parallel lines. To draw a straight parallel line, you're going to take your ruler, okay? You line up your 0 so you can measure down from it. And look at your ruler. Make sure it looks at least fairly straight. There's not like this. You know, I'm not measuring at all crooked. Make sure you measure nice and straight and go straight down. All right, I'm going to do mine straight on the left side. You can do it however you want to on yours. I'm going to go 0. I'm going to go down, start at 1 inch. I'm going to go down to 4 inches. So that's a total of 3 inches long. 1 to 4 inches right there. Okay, that's a line. Now, making something exactly parallel to it could be kind of tough though. I just drew a line randomly. It's there. It's not actually perfectly straight according to the side of this paper, but it is just a straight line. Whatever it is, you can draw a straight line like this. Whatever you want to. There's a 3-inch straight line. Now I have a straight line. If I want to make something that's exactly parallel to any line like that, you can line up your 0, just like that. I'm going to make a bar here parallel at 1 inch. Put a dot there, come on down, line up your 0 again, make sure it's there, and put in another dot. Now, I can draw a line that's totally straight. Remember I started an inch down from here, line up your 0, so that's an inch there. If I pull off an inch here, and I get my ruler to be right below these two dots that I made. There's a dot there.
Hello, everyone.
Dot there.
Happy Friday. I just wanted to let you all know that Aries has been updated and you can see your class list now.
I'm gonna go down from 1 down to 4.
Be out of the building by 5:15.
All right.
Have a great weekend. School will be open tomorrow and Sunday from 9 to 4. Thanks. Bye.
Sorry about that, guys. So this is a parallel line. Parallel means it's going in the same direction, and if they were to go on forever, if you were to be able to draw a line that's infinitely long, they would never cross because they stay the same distance apart. That's a parallel line. If you make your initials with one pair at least of parallel lines, that's gonna get you 2 points. Now, I can cap it off. I can draw a line between these two things. Draw a line between these two things. All right, I've got some parallel lines. Now, if I wanted to make the rest of my initial, so my first name is Nick or Nicholas. I think about writing it at an angle. I can draw a line like this. Now, this is what I like to do. I'm gonna start right there at that point. I'm gonna make up the angle that I want it to go at. I'm gonna draw just a nice, light, thin, light line, all right? Now, by drawing that nice, thin, light line, I can then bring my ruler here. If I wanted it to be an inch thick, I can line up the 1/2 inch, which is right there in the middle, and put a dot here, a dot here. Now I have a 1 inch gap. I'm gonna line up my 1/2 inch line there right in the middle on that light line, put a dot here, put a dot there. Okay. And then you can connect these in the exact same way as I did before. All right, now I've got a cross piece going down there at an angle. Now let's see here, if I want my other part of my initial to start 1 inch away from this thing, start right about there. Okay, measure out here 1 inch from there, start right about there. I'm gonna line it up again on my two dots, go 1 inch off of the top, because that's where the other one started. I'm going to draw from 1 down to 4. Boom. Now we go over again. Once again, line up your 0, put a dot an inch away, a little tick mark, another inch away. All right, line it up. One to 4.
Hi, everyone. Just a correction. Mr. King says that he will be here at 8 a.m.
1 to 4.
Will be open.
All right, 1 inch to 4 inch. There we go. So that's really ugly looking. So I'm gonna get a different tool, which I actually didn't bring to my desk. It's called an eraser. Woo, erasers. All right, take an eraser, and you can fix this stuff. Alrighty, nothing wrong with it. You guys are gonna be making lots of designs this year, and using an eraser is just gonna be a fact of life. These things don't have to be perfection always, they have to be updated well. That's what I'm looking for, all right? Now, I can sit here and cross my top there. Across the bottom here. All right. All right, got some straight lines. You're doing pretty well. Now, one of the next tools you're gonna be using is gonna be what's called a French curve. These are called French curves. There's a bunch of them. They all have weird shapes. We have plenty of them in class. You can use them to draw something. None of my letters, I guess my middle initial, has a D in it. So I can do the same sort of thing as I was doing before. I'm gonna put a D over here. Do it right here. That's 5.5 inches. Line up my 6, and I'm just gonna go right here to 1/2 inch. I'm gonna draw another straight line between these two things. Down to there. I'm gonna give myself a little bit of space half an inch here. Okay. And then you can take a French curve, you can look at ones that have different shapes to them and see which one might work well for you and what you're trying to do. Okay, I'm going to start this here. Okay, I drew it about halfway around. And I can take my curve, continue working with it here. Okay. You can use them to do all different things. This is not perfect, but you get the basic idea of how to use a curve. You can get the whole stinking thing sometimes. You can rotate it around. You can bring it to do stuff. It's up to you. You use these the best, like however you want to. When I ask you to do two curved lines that are parallel, all I'm looking for is something like this. Hey, I got a line here. Okay, and you scoot it over, and you put in another line like this. Okay, so this could be useful for D's, S's, C's, all sorts of different things. That's there for you. Some other stuff that we have: a protractor. This gives you even larger circles. And you also have stencils. These stencils have different shapes, and I ask you to make a rectangle and a circle, put them in there. They can just be for decoration. It's up to you. I already have some rectangles right here, but you can use a stencil rectangle just like that. It's a very easy thing. And from those things, you can draw. Where'd my ruler go? You can draw stuff off the edge of them. This.
Sorry to bother you.
What's up?
Quick question.
Uh-huh.
The security's missing a blue bag.
There's one right there for him.
And I see you have two.
Yeah.
Mind if I take one for him?
Go for it.
Awesome.
And
Are you good at one-day trash scan, or do you need another one there? I know this is a pretty busy shop.
we'll need that one. I use for wood. If you have an extra one, that'd be great.
Okay, I have another one in my bin. I'll
Sweet.
in my office.
Thank you so much. So you can use these stencils to make all sorts of different things. Whatever it is that you're working on. Makes really nice, quick, easy circles. It's got another ruler on the side of it. Anyhow, Nicholas, David, and I need to make a W. We have coloring pencils and markers, things like that. You can make these things. Do your best to make these look good, but the main idea is to practice using the tools. We have a ruler, we've got stencils, we've got French curves. These things are really, really handy tools, and protractors. So please use them as best you can to make a really pretty set of initials. Thank you, guys.